to do this with a, let's call it, more serious fridge. As a matter of fact, I tested two other fridges. A relatively basic KitchenAid from 2022, that's the fridge I was waiting on for my new home, and a Samsung Twin Cool model from 2012, which is the fridge I have here at the studio. I started here at the studio. I put the temperature probes in different locations throughout the fridge, and I started logging at the same time I put in all those cans. We can see that the fridge was able to maintain temperature just fine. We can tell all those warm cans did slightly influence the air temperature inside, but only by a few degrees. Whatever else was in the fridge would have stayed cold. I also want to point out that even though I had the probes in various locations throughout the fridge, they all read very similar temperatures throughout the test. Going by the average temperature metric in the report, which is skewed a bit by the beginning and end, but that's the case for all the probes, the interior temperature only varied by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I did the test again at home. This time I started logging before I put in the cans, and then I loaded them up. Now, a quick note, the reason the Samsung data and the KitchenAid data look so different is because the Samsung fridge has separate evaporators for the fridge and freezer compartments, and they can operate independently or together. But they both share the same compressor and condenser, meaning the total cooling capacity is split between them, and that means the rate at which each compartment cools down varies depending on whether the other compartment also wants some cooling at the same time. That's why the data looks like a mountain range. The KitchenAid, meanwhile, is more old-fashioned with a single evaporator in the freezer and a means to move air between the freezer and fridge compartments. So it's either running and cooling down or not running and warming back up. Anyway, here's where I loaded up all the cans of water. Honestly, I don't know what happened here. I might have put something else in the fridge earlier. Also, yes, this is very cold. I'm surprised nothing ever freezes in there. We do see the measured temperature increase slightly as it works to cool down all those cans, but again, it's not a lot. In some locations, it's barely noticeable. And here, it's a bit more so, but still not much. This probe saw the biggest change, and it was placed in one of the shelves of the door. But it only just cracked 38 degrees and slowly crept back in line with time. Oh, and again, the temps in here are pretty consistent. Not quite as good as the Samsung fridge, but even if it's about 5 degrees warmer than the coolest spot. For grins and giggles, I placed the probe in the freezer, and you absolutely cannot tell when I actually can. But now for what I'm sure you've all been waiting for. How does the little red fridge do in this test? Not well. In fairness to it, I did this test with the fridge empty, which was not the case for the other two fridges. But, it's so much worse that I assure you that wasn't much of a contributing factor. This probe is placed on the top shelf next to the thermostat, and you can see the continuing temperature is 130.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
That's a pretty wide range, which is a bit concerning. It's pretty average, that average, and that's
Most of the zones are taken by the enemy.
Here's what happened when I added all that soda. The temperature shot right up to just shy of 50 degrees. Importantly, this probe was not the temperature was inside the fridge, and it was confirmed by all of these cans out of 4.5 gallons, or about 17 liters, of room temperature water. And that's quite a lot of thermal mass to cool down. The serious fridges managed that just fine, but surprisingly, the red digits and this horrible compressor struggled to compare the downward slope between the empty and the cold water fridge to get a sense of how hard this is. Speaking of, I spent a probe into the freezer machine as they go back. Given how this probe works with this two-section evaporator, the freezer gets colder whenever the fridge is running. And since at this point the fridge has been running for several hours straight, the freezer is getting cold. That is a lot of ground. Fire is about -7 degrees. to turn a little weird. If this bridge works like demonstrated above, this climb is possible until we're back to the after all, the thermostat and the thermostat's entire job is to decide temperature. And the
I hate the fucking KVs, dude. The KVs are so fucking annoying. The KVs are just genuinely fucking infuriating. They're just they're not skillful. It's just hiding behind like hundreds of millimeters.
But the thermostat should not have satisfied this quickly. If I keep showing you this interval, you'll see that the thermostat kept on shutting the compressor off way too early. But each time it did, it got a little bit colder, and it would kick the compressor back on just a tad earlier than it did the last time. So it was very slowly working.
Like, bro, why does it want to fucking do that?
12 hours after I put the canister there, it still wasn't working. That's not great. And judging by this down slope, still working its way down. My original plan was to run this test for 24 hours, and that's when I took out the probe. It seems as though it was approaching a stable condition at this point, but I put a couple of the other probes back in for another 2 hours. Sure enough, the fridge had stabilized like right at the 24 hours. That's bad enough on its own, but despite not changing the thermostat setting at all, we were now at a higher temperature than we were previously at every measured location. And at this point, I broke down and said, "What is happening? No fridge should have its set point like this by this time. That's not how refrigerators are supposed to work. Yet this fella, simply through having forced the oven, has drifted upward by quite a lot. In fact, that probe on the bottom shelf, now the distance is pretty big. At this point, the fridge is a true fail. But that's no, it's not okay at all. But really, the whole point of this project.
God, bro, re-fucking load, dude. Why does it like, dude? This fucking tank takes forever to fucking reload, dude. Seems like when I need it to reload, it takes 10 years, but whenever it's like I just accidentally fire, it's reloaded in like 3 seconds, dude.
And if that were the case, then moving on to the
agony, pain, suffering.
That was internal temperature consistency. Remember how in the proper fridges, their internal temperature varied by, at most, 5 degrees in my tests? Well, the variance in this particular fridge was unsurprisingly worse. To quantify it, I ran a very long trial with the 5 probes placed in several different locations, and the fridge probe with another 6. I put 7 probes in the middle shelf drawer as well as a box 8-pack down with within 5-day test of the probe 1 right at the back of the
I hate TAGs. TAGs are so stupid.
Number 4, the hot almost command and probe number 5 was only at the bottom. Those additional 16 tests were added more at the start of this long process, and good news here, the fridge handled them a little more elegantly. They did still do but probably thanks to the thermal mass of all those already cold cans, as well as the fact that this was probes 1, 2, and 3 only showed a slightly
my god. Why does everything take 10 years to do in this tank?
Probe 2, which was just a few inches ahead
Come on,
of
tank.
the
You're selling me,
shelf,
dude. You're my favorite
averaged
tank, but you're not
37.
doing me do good.
We've already tied the temperature variance of the KitchenAid fridge, and these two probes were almost right next to each other. That goes well. Probe 3 averaged around 40 degrees, so it was just plain not the true same temperature from the top of the shelf, and probe 4 settled around 38.5 degrees once almost down. And then the crisper.
What is this?
Well, yeah, that never meant.
What kind of tank are you? Does he have a trailer? What is that? What's trailing behind him?
There's an 11-degree variance.
Come here, come here. I like the way the Churchills look. They're annoying to deal with, but they look cool. Let's go try to help this guy out. Ooh. Over that guy. I don't know if I did that with the
it should be fine. And if you only use the top shelf reward for messages, still, I wanted to make this better. And I know a thing or two about proper refrigerators these days, usually benefit from some sort of fan, blows air in the mouth. The specifics of that vary a ton depending on the design of the fridge. But a little forced airflow will do a great job of keeping your temperatures more consistent. A simple fan could, in theory, turn the fridge into a convection.
Oh, that's lucky.
Attention to the designated fridgeware. We don't have the advantage anymore.
Dude, you're telling me this guy... Okay, there we go. I was like, bro, how many fucking crew members do you have on that thing?
Attention to the designated grid zone. Attention to the designated grid square.
I hopped really next to the top of the fridge and emptied it out of the fridge. That would hopefully move the very cold air through the evaporator towards the door and reduce the temperature gradient from front to back. Here's how that went.
Aiden is best. Fucking great.
Top shelf unit to use it.
Ooh. Oh no, I don't like his hair. Fuck you. Oh wait, he can't turn. That's a free kill. Never mind, yes he can. Go, you fuck.
And all at various locations to simulate a well-stocked fridge. With all that thermal mass, the fridge ran infrequent and
Yeah, fuck.
Then I turned on the fan. And what happened was
Fuck.
really
I got his barrel though.
I could tell as soon as I switched the fan on that now the fridge was running for a strangely long time. Kept running. But that was tiring. If the fan was doing the job,
I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Oh my god.
So at first, I thought this was a good sign. A little after midnight, it finally turned on. The next day, it wasn't running when I first checked. Good, I thought. It's probably maintaining temperature. It came back on a little after 9 that morning, and I went about my day checking on it every day. At 11 o'clock, it still hadn't shut off. Then noon came and went. Then 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock, and it was still running. I was starting to get pretty worried. It was probably a bit below freezing inside. At 2:40, it still had not stopped running. At this point, I had to take the probes out.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Help me! Oh my god, that ricochet.
Keyword little. Just doing that widened the depth
Enemy forces
of
have
the
captured the
thermostat.
zone. Allied forces have captured the zone.
Now it wasn't even
That fat ass KV2 round, dude. Bro, the KV2 is so overpowered. It's so broken, dude. The KV2 needs to be debuffed so badly. Like, what is that, bro? That's so ridiculous.
That's not entirely true. If we look at Probe 2, which I placed on the top shelf of the door, we used to be averaging right around 40 slightly below 4. By adding this one, brought the average down to like 37.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
You can now feel safe keeping whatever you want up there. But Probe 3, which was at the door's bottom shelf, got much worse, and so did Probe 4. Yeah, we made the top shelf more consistent, but everywhere else in the fridge got warmer. Perturbed, but undeterred, I tried several different fan configurations. Maybe sticking the fan up top, combined with the overlap of the door shelves and main shelves, was just forming a trapped loop of air recirculation, and nothing was actually moving to the bottom of the fridge. So I tried moving the fan, and making it too big time, to the very back of the fridge, right to the little gap between the shelves and the back, pointing downwards to hopefully force more airflow to the bottom of the fridge. You only see one in this picture, but there's another on the left side. Pardon the interruption, but I see now that I've misremembered this particular test. The fans are indeed pointing upward. I honestly don't think that was my intention. I probably just forgot which side we used. Regardless, this configuration ensures the really long cycle times, but as far as the overall temperature consistency, it has pretty much the same exact effect as the previous test. The top door shelf got colder, but everywhere else got warmer. So, in other words, it didn't work. Still, I tried several more things. I got this giant fan, which moves a heck of a lot and stuck it up top. That also didn't help. I then tried turning it around to blow onto the evaporator and hopefully sneak some air down through the slots behind the shelves. Not only did that not help, but it also reduced the effectiveness of the freezer, most likely because all that forced airflow made the evaporator in the house. The fan also took up a lot of room in that one. Small fans, one at each level, near the back and pointing forward, would make it better. Well, it did not. And the last thing I got one of these lower specs. I tried putting it on top and forcing air to the bottom, which didn't help. I also tried putting it on the bottom and forcing air to the top. Also didn't help. In this very long data logging session, all this junk at the front is trying to do. The big spikes are from the door open to the entrance out. I didn't even bother offloading the data from the code. I could tell no matter what I did, there were serious airflow connections. I tried moving even after half hour and checked the growth.
I swear, bro, the Russian bias in this game is fucking
They should all
ridiculous,
more or
dude.
less agree, but instead, on top and 44 down below.
These fuckers have ridiculous amounts of fucking armor, dude.
So clearly the fans were hurting and not helping. So, okay, there's more to this whole thermal design thing than I figured. The convection currents made by these sheets of cold, dense air falling to the bottom of the fridge are apparently very delicate.
Is Marcos gonna get on, or is he gonna keep being a pussy?
Slightest of ways makes the
He's gonna keep being a pussy, okay.
Go figure. Now, one last thing to try would be fans on